Kept a dialing and we couldn't get him in, but I'll tell you what, he's here this week. Mr. Barker, sir, good evening.
Good evening, John. You keep a dialing, but you can't log on. That sounds like a song.
I think we've got a new one coming up, mate. I think we really have. How's your week been, anyway?
Been all right, actually. Yeah, it's been nice. Weather's been good, and it's been okay. Yeah, been a bit busy, this, that, and the other, but yeah, okay. You?
Yeah, we had a bit of a light thunderstorm last night. Jersey had I think they hit harder than Guernsey did. But today it's been gorgeous. It's been really nice.
Yeah, we did as well. Very similar, actually. Yeah, we had one there. Some great lightning. Yeah, nice to watch.
Well, it's the tribute day today, my man. So all I'm going to say is, Mr. Geoff Barker, take it away.
Thank you. Yeah, well, if you were of a certain age, where were you 43 years ago today when you heard the news, the death of Elvis? It hardly seems possible. I remember making a programme for BBC World Service marking his 20th anniversary, and here we are 43 years later. So tonight is all an Elvis theme. We've got 4 tracks from the man, beg your pardon, 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks from the man, and a couple of tributes, I thought. So let's kick off with this, maybe from a very unusual source, but it's a very clever song. How many Elvis titles can you hear in this? Here's Dire Straits.
Calling Elvis, is anybody home? Calling Elvis, I'm here all alone. I didn't leave the building, I can't come to the phone. Calling Elvis, I'm here all alone. Well, tell him I was calling, just to wish him well. Let me leave my number, Heartbreak Hotel. Oh, lovely tender, baby, don't be cruel. Return to sender. Treat me like a fool. Calling Elvis, is anybody home? Calling Elvis, I'm here all alone. Did you leave the building? Can you come to the phone? Calling Elvis, I'm here all alone. All right. God, tell him he's still a man. A long distance, baby, so far from home. Don't you think maybe you can put him on? Tell him I was calling just to wish him well. Let me leave my number, Heartbreak Hotel. Oh, love me tender, baby, don't be cruel. Return to sender, treat me like a fool. Calling Elvis.
Clever stuff from Mr. Knopfler. Dire Straits from their 1991 album called On Every Street, calling Elvis. The album version of that is 6.5 minutes, so that's a Geoff Barker, edit. I hope he won't mind. So to the man himself, we go right back to the label where he started in Memphis, Tennessee. Sun Records, produced by the great Sam Phillips, from 1955. Just before he moved to RCA Records and world and international and whatever fame he wanted to put on it, he went through the stratosphere. This was his last single for Sun Records. And if anyone ever wants to know what rockabilly is or was, this is it, with the great Scotty Moore's signature guitar licks. This is Elvis, Scotty and Bill, the bass player, and Mystery Train.
Train I ride, 16 coaches long. Train I ride, 16 coaches long. Well, that long black train got my baby and gone. Train, coming round the bend. Train, coming round the bend. Well, it took my baby, but it never will again. No, not again. Train, coming down the line. Train, coming down the line. Well, it's bringing my baby, 'cause she's mine, oh, mine, she's mine, oh, mine. Train, coming round the bend, round the bend. Train, coming round the bend. Well, it took my baby, but it never will again, never will again.
Never ceases to give me chill bumps. Elvis and Mystery Train with Scotty Moore's amazing guitar licks, which have just been copied down the years by everybody. Elvis's last single for Sun in 1955 and early 56, he went to RCA Records and did Heartbreak Hotel, and just that was it. The song was originally recorded and produced by Sam Phillips at Sun Records, same label, by a bluesman called Little Junior Parker in 1953. Okay, now to a really great track from Elvis's, in my opinion, best album he ever made after he came out of the army in 1960. The obviously titled Elvis Is Back was the album. And this is a great version of a song that was first a hit for the Drifters and then an even bigger hit for Johnny Ray. And just have a listen to Elvis's drummer, DJ Fontana, at the end. He sounds like he's fallen off the kit. This is Elvis and Such a Night.
It was a night, ooh, what a night it was, it really was such a night. The moon was bright, oh how bright it was, it really was such a night. The night was alive with stars above. Ooh, when she kissed me, I had to fall in love. It was a kiss. Ooh, what a kiss it was. It really was such a kiss. Oh, how she could kiss. Oh, what a kiss it was. It really was such a kiss. Just the thought of her lips sets me afire. I reminisce and I'm filled with desire. But I gave my heart to her, sweet surrender. Such a night. Came the dawn, and my heart in love, and the night was gone. But I'll never forget the kiss in the moonlight. Ooh, such a kiss, such a night. It was a night. Ooh, what a night it was. It really was such a night. Came the dawn, and my heart in her love, and the night was gone. But I'll never forget the kiss in the moonlight. How will I remember? I'll always remember that night. Ooh, what a night it was. It really was such a night. When we kissed, I had to fall in love. But I gave my heart to her, sweet surrender. How will I remember? I'll always remember. Oh, that night. Ooh, what a night it was. It really was such a night. When we kissed, I had to fall in love. Well, she's gone, gone, gone. Yes, she's gone, gone, gone. Came the dawn, 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 and my love was gone. But before that dawn, yes, before that dawn, and before that dawn, ooh, 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 yeah. Such a night.
Wonderful. Can someone pick DJ up, please? Elvis, Such a Night from Elvis Is Back. Fantastic track. This is Geoff Barker with John Randall on BBC Radio Guernsey, BBC Radio Jersey, my little Sunday night rock and roll segment. Commemorating the anniversary 43 years ago of the death of Elvis. Can I say hi to Helen in Hoveringham near Nottingham, who's just sent me a photograph of her log burner, which is roaring away. She said it's very cold and it's wet there at the moment. Bit different to where you were last week, hey? On to another one from the King. This is a great track, written by Jerry Reed, who was in the Smokey and the Bandit movies. You'll know the guy. He had a sort of a cowboy hat on and did all that stuff when on the trucks and when they were heading all over the place. Great, fantastic guitar picker. In fact, Elvis was recording this song, which he wrote, Guitar Man, with all the session players in Nashville, and none of them could do what Jerry Reed had done on his original record. So Elvis said, "Get me Jerry Reed," and being the king of rock and roll, he could do that. So they found him, brought him into the studio, gave him a guitar, acoustic guitar, and he did his stuff on his own song, which he was probably very pleased that Elvis recorded, because it brought in a few bob, I can well imagine. Here's Elvis and the Jerry Reed song, Guitar Man.
Well, I quit my job down at the car wash. I left my mama a goodbye note. By sundown, I left Kingston with my guitar under my coat. I hitchhiked all the way down to Memphis, got a room at the YMCA. For the next 3 weeks, I went a hunting them nightclubs looking for a place to play. Well, I thought my picking would set them on fire, but nobody wanted to hire a guitar man. Well, I nearly about starved to death down in Memphis. I run out of money and luck. So I bought me a ride down to Macon, Georgia on an overloaded poultry truck. I thumbed on down to Panama City, started picking out some of them all-night bars. Hoping I could make myself $1 making music on my guitar. I got the same old story, them all-night peers. There ain't no room around here for a guitar man. We don't need a guitar man, son. So I slept in the hobo jungles. I roamed 1,000 miles of track till I found myself in Mobile, Alabama. Had a club they called Big Jack's. A little 4-piece band was jamming, so I took my guitar and I set in. I showed them what a band would sound like. I was a swinging little guitar man. Show them, son. If you ever take a trip down to the ocean, find yourself down around Mobile, make it on out to a club called Jack's if you got a little time to kill. Just follow that crowd of people, you'll wind up out on his dance floor, digging to find this little 5-piece group up and down the Gulf of Mexico. I guess who's leading that 5-piece band? Wouldn't you know it's that swinging little guitar man? Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Fantastic guitar from Jerry Reed, an amazing vocal from Elvis, Guitar Man, which got in the British Top 20 in 1968. And so the story goes, and a friend of mine who was a record producer in Nashville told me this, so I think it was probably true. When Elvis was doing it and sent out the call for Jerry Reed to come and play on the session, Jerry Reed was a very keen fisherman, and he was down on the river that runs through Nashville catching catfish, which are not exactly the sweetest smelling fish you can possibly imagine, and he just wanted to get it done. And he came into the studio with his big wellies on and all the nets and whatever else he was doing, and that just turned out a great bit of guitar. Jerry Reed with Elvis and Guitar Man. Now to we've got two more to go. I've got another little tribute to Elvis coming up, but the final one from the man himself tonight. And this has to be one of his most powerful, dramatic vocals. And it was a real change of style for the song. Instead of just being the usual sort of trite songs, Moon in June type lyrics, which he'd been lumbered with when he was making his movies, this was definitely a social conscience song with a message, and sort of showed a real different side of Elvis from his hugely successful and iconic 1968 comeback TV special. This is Elvis and the magnificent If I Can Dream.
Must be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in a sky more blue. If I can dream of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why. Oh, why can't my dream come true? Oh, why? There must be peace and understanding sometime. Strong winds of promise that will blow away the doubt and fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun where hope keeps shining on everyone, tell me why. Oh, why? Oh, I want that sun up here. We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain. But as long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly. Deep in my heart, there's a trembling question. Still I am sure that the answer's gonna come somehow. Out there in the dark, there's a beckoning candle, yeah. And while I can think, while I can talk, while I can stand, while I can walk, while I can dream, oh please let my dream come true. Right now, let it come true right now. Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Elvis and If I Can Dream, a song really just as relevant today, perhaps more so than it was when he put it out in 1968 on that wonderful TV special. And there's a video, you can find it anywhere on all the usual places online, and you can see him doing that. He had a white suit on and he really put his whole heart and soul into it. They're the tracks from Elvis tonight, but this last one I want to close with is a tribute song. Now, most of them are really awful, the tribute songs to people who pass on. They're mawkish, sort of sentimental things, but this was really great. It was recorded at the legendary Rockfield Studios in Monmouth in South Wales, where just about everybody recorded. In fact, it was subject to a recent BBC TV documentary, which you may have seen. If you haven't, it's on the BBC iPlayer. It's a wonderful, sincere track. And it was written within just a few days of Elvis dying, and they've got some great players in. I'll tell you who was on it in just a moment. But it's a Welsh guy singing it, and I think the song just sums up what anyone who was around at the time and was an Elvis fan thought, and that's probably good enough for anybody. This is Frankie Allen and Just a Country Boy.
I had a very old friend who never knew about me. He never knew, no, he gave me everything I need. A way of life that shows in everything I say and do. He gave me enough to see me through. Just a country boy in Memphis, Tennessee. No one could have known what fate meant him to be. Gave him a voice that could ring with every feeling ever known, but no words can tell just what he meant to me. Oh, I was only 10 years old, but it seemed like yesterday when I first heard him on the radio. And his music made me dance all night, and his sad songs made me cry. And I'll always feel the same way till I die. Yeah. And his music made me dance all night, and his sad songs made me cry. And I'll always feel the same way till I die. I was one of the crowd who worshipped him. I was one of the crowd who told him he was king. I was one of the crowd he had to prove it for, time and time again. And no mortal man could ever stand the strain. Oh, I was only 10 years old, but it seems like yesterday when I first heard him on the radio. And his music made me dance all night, and his sad songs made me cry. And I'll always feel the same way till I die. Yes, I'll always feel the same way till I die. I'll always feel the same way till I die.
What a great little song. Frankie Allen and Just a Country Boy. Must be something in the water in South Wales, produces so many great rock and rollers. Recorded just a few days after Elvis died, 43 years ago today. And I mentioned the guy playing guitar was a guy called Mickey G, who played with Shaky throughout the 80s and was the guitarist on all those great hits. And also Andy Fairweather Low was on that track as well, and I like to play that every year. It just sums up, I think, what people thought at the time. Remembering Elvis. Thank you, John.
No problem whatsoever. That was just amazingly fantastic. Great tribute. Do you remember what you were doing the night Elvis died?
I do, actually. I was at home. We were living in Surrey, and my neighbour over the road, who was a bit older than me and a massive Elvis fan, he was a big, strong guy, worked as an engineer, and he came and he knocked on the front door, and he was crying. I didn't know what had happened. I thought something had happened to his family, one of his children, whatever. And he came in and he said Elvis had died, because he'd been a first-generation Elvis fan right from when he first appeared. So, yeah, I do remember that. Of course, flicked the TV on, and there it all was, I remember collecting all the newspapers I could, and I still got them, because I do hoard things. I'm collecting all the newspapers, everything, and the supplements and magazines and all that stuff from that first week after he died. And I've still got them all, and I've kept them all in pretty good nick as well.
I was in a car park, sat in a car listening to Radio Luxembourg 208, and I think it was Tony Prince who came on with headline news and said the king is dead. And I do remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was just such a big shock, wasn't it? I mean, because apart from the fact he was so young anyway, but
43?
Elvis dead didn't seem possible, but there we are. Anyway.
Okay, mate. Well, listen, we'll do the same next week in a different order. Always good to catch up with you. I think things are working quite nice now. And,
it seems to have gone quite well this week.
It's great to sort of let you sort of go gently, not get cut off like we did last week. So, Geoff,
you managed it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John, and you at home. Have a good week. Stay safe, and I'll see you next Sunday.
Cheers, mate.
Who are we looking at tonight?
Thank you, Martin. Yeah, well, any rock and roll fan will know that particular date. The day Elvis died, 43 years ago. It's amazing, really. Anyone who was around at the time, I'm sure will remember where they were, how they found out, who told them, and what they thought about it. So, the 3 tracks tonight. 2 are by Elvis, and 1 is a really nice tribute song about the man. But let's kick off with a song that was his first British #1. No, it wasn't Heartbreak Hotel. It was in America. His second single on RCA went to the top in this country, giving him his first British #1 from 1957. And just let me say, you can hear Elvis keeping time by slapping the back of his guitar. He put his guitar on back to front and slapped the back of the guitar, and that's that sort of noise going all the way through it. This is Elvis and All Shook Up.
Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting wild as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. Well, my hands are shaky and my knees are weak. I can't seem to stand on my own 2 feet. Who do you think of when you have such luck? I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. Well, please don't ask me what's on my mind. I'm a little mixed up, but I feel fine when I'm near the girl that I love best. My heart beats so it scares me to death when she touches my hand. Oh, what a chill I got. Her lips are like a volcano that's hot. I'm proud to say that she's my buttercup. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. My tongue gets tied when I try to speak. My inside is shaking like a leaf on a tree. There's only one cure for this body of mine. That's to have that girl and a love so fine. She touched my hand and what a chill I got. Her lips are like a volcano that's hot. I'm proud to say that she's my buttercup. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah.
Of course, Elvis and All Shook Up. We are joined tonight by Geoff Barker. And Geoff, I should point out, of course, that Matt Shepherd, who is here at BBC Radio Cornwall, has written a couple of books about the songs behind, or the stories behind the songs of Elvis. So that's something to keep your eyes open for. You've got a second one for us tonight, haven't you?
Actually, I have one of those books. I saw it and got it whenever it was, and I didn't realise at the time that it was the same Matt. Yeah,
Shepherd,
very good,
yeah.
Well done. A lot of research involved in that,
Isn't there just?
Yeah, Elvis and All Shook Up it sort of summed up how he was at the time, from the 50s and into it was the sort of almost 70s Elvis. It was late 1969, but one he then did regularly in all his live shows in the 70s when he was playing at the Hilton Hotel in Las Vegas and for months and months at a time. This has to be one of his greatest ever singles, big live favourite. Kept off the British #1 spot by, well, I'll tell you what it was after we hear it. A great performance. Elvis, Suspicious Minds.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me?
you don't believe a word I say. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds. So if an old friend I know stops by to say hello, would I still see suspicion in your eyes? But here we go again, asking where I've been. You can't see the tears are real, I'm crying. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds. Won't let our love survive, or dry the tears from your eyes. Let's don't let a good thing die. When honey, you know I've never lied to you. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing for me? When you don't believe a word I say, don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby.
Wonderful. What a song. Is it going to come back? No. Yes, here it comes.
Because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap?
What a great song. Marking the 43rd anniversary of the death of Elvis today. Suspicious Minds, with that trick ending which has caught many of us out.
Caught me out.
Hey, Martin, I'm sure you're dying to know what kept that off the British number one spot.
What kept it off the number one spot?
Are you ready for this? You better sit down and get some smelling salts ready.
Yeah.
The Archies and Sugar Sugar.
Oh, get out of here. That's ridiculous.
I know. What were the record buying public thinking?
I
I don't
have no
know.
idea.
There we are. But then you look at the Beatles. People say their greatest single, Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields Forever, kept off the top by Engelbert Humperdinck and the Last Waltz. But it's just the way the public buy the records.
Absolutely right.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank
I
you,
look
Geoff.
forward to having a chat next week.
Likewise.
I've been really looking forward to this part, actually, of the programme because we are now heading at this same time each week to speak to Geoff Barker to celebrate the music of his choice as part of the mini rock and roll. 3 favourite tracks, and he joins us now to explain what those tracks are. I'm going to play them. I'm very excited about these, actually, today. Good afternoon, Geoff. How are you?
I'm fine, Marie. How are you?
Yeah, very well indeed. You told us last week it was an Elvis special. Explain why today it is.
Well, amazing. Those who may remember it, 43 years ago since Elvis died. I actually made a programme for BBC World Service marking the 20th anniversary of his passing, and that only seems like yesterday. So, yeah, 43 years ago, the king of rock and roll. And I thought, obviously, I'd put 3 tracks in today as part of an Elvis theme, 2 from the man himself, and then closing with a nice little tribute song. So let's kick off with the first one, which, of course, is just for you, Marie, because I bet you it's called, the bit in brackets, Marie's the name, his latest flame.
Excellent.
A very old friend came by today, 'cause he was telling everyone in town of the love that he just found, and Marie's the name of his latest flame. He talked and talked, and I heard him say that she had the longest, blackest hair, the prettiest green eyes anywhere, and Marie's the name of his latest flame. Though I smiled, the tears inside were burning. I wished him luck, and then he said goodbye. He was gone, but still his words kept returning. What else was there for me to do but cry? Would you believe that yesterday this girl was in my arms and swore to me she'd be mine eternally, and Marie's the name of his latest flame. Though I smiled, the tears inside were burning. I wished him luck, and then he said goodbye. He was gone, but still his words kept returning. What else was there for me to do but cry? Would you believe that yesterday this girl was in my arms and swore to me she'd be mine eternally, and Marie's the name of his latest flame. Yeah, Marie's the name of his latest flame. Oh, Marie's the name.
That's brilliant. There are very few songs with my name in it. I can think about Amarillo, and I can also think about Footloose, Kenny Loggins' Footloose. Those songs have got my name in, but that one there just sort of makes me smile quite a lot.
Right, I should just say on that one, it was from 1961, and that was one of the greatest double A-side singles when you used to get really great value on a record, and the other side was another fantastic track called Little Sister. Oh, thank you, Marie. No, my pleasure, and look forward to it. Well, it's not you next week. It's Graham back, isn't it?
Graham is back in the hot seat next week, so I'm not gonna spoil the surprise for him. I'm gonna let him unwrap the gifts, because that's what it feels like when you suggest these tracks to us. So it's an unwrapping gift. So I'm gonna not spoil it for him. And
thanks a lot.
Yes, but
Can
you
I say
will.
hello to your mum and dad? You just told me they enjoyed listening to this while you've been on. So thank you.
Yes, no, they have. There's lots of lovely feedback from that, and particularly those tracks there will I'm sure evoke quite a lot of lovely memories, so thank you for that. Listen, we will catch up with you next week, Geoff, as part of the mini rock and roll. Graham, as I said, will be sitting in the hot seat next week.
Yeah, we played the Pet Shop Boys and Always on My Mind a little earlier on, and I was trying to rack my brains exactly to think of what was the year for Elvis's passing, and I said I knew a man who'd know. Was it 76? Was it 1977? The man with all the knowledge is, of course, Geoff Barker. What was it, Geoff?
It was 1977.
Jubilee year. I should have remembered, shouldn't I? Should have remembered that, absolutely. And this is going to be, dare I say, a bit of an Elvis tribute special, isn't it?
Certainly is, yeah. We've got 2 tribute songs to Elvis, but a bunch of his own songs in the middle, really spread between our 2 little sections tonight. I'm going to kick off with one which I know you will appreciate. As soon as I put it in, I thought, Richard's going to like this because it's right up your street, and you probably knew the guy anyway. This is a really great tribute song. This is how to do a tribute song. None of this mawkish sort of phony sentimentality. It's just a guy talking about how he felt when Elvis died, even though this It wasn't a hit until 1980, so presumably he'd written it and then put it out 3 years later. But it's Phil Lynott with the great Mark Knopfler on guitar, as you can tell as soon as you hear it, and a great song called King's Call.
It was a rainy night, the night the king went down. Everybody was crying, seemed like sadness had surrounded the town. I went to the liquor store, and I bought a bottle of wine and a bottle of gin. I played his records all night, drinking with a close, close friend. Now some people say that ain't right, and some people say nothing at all. But even in the darkest of night, you can always hear the king call. You can always hear the king call. Well, they put him away in Memphis, 6 feet beneath the clay. Everybody was crying, everybody said it was a plain gray day. I went to the liquor store, and I bought another bottle of wine and another bottle of gin. I played his records all night, and I got drunk all over again. Now some people say that ain't right, and some people say nothing at all. But even in the darkest of night, you can always hear the king call. You can always hear the king call. I wonder if you're lonesome tonight. Now the stage is bare, and I'm standing here. You can always hear the king call. 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 I cried.
Phil Lynott with Mark Knopfler and King's Call from 1980. A great song about Elvis. How many Elvis song titles did you hear in that song? Right, now to the man himself and the label where he started, Sun Records, 1954 when he first went there, and this is one of the later tracks he recorded that year, produced by Sam Phillips in that little one-room studio. Unprecedented then. This was a white guy covering an old blues hit. That didn't happen. It was originally a hit for a guy called Roy Brown in 1947, but as he often did with so many songs he covered, Elvis made it his own. Elvis, Scotty Moore on guitar, Bill Black on bass, and Good Rocking Tonight.
Well, I heard the news. That's good to rockin' tonight. Well, I heard the news. That's good to rockin' tonight. I'm gonna hold my baby as tight as I can. Tonight she'll know I'm a mighty, mighty man. I heard the news. There's good to rockin' tonight. I say, oh, meet me in a hurry behind the barn. Don't you be afraid that I'll do you no harm. I want you to bring along my rocking shoes, 'cause tonight I'm going to rock away on the blues. I heard the news, there's good to rocking tonight.
we're gonna rock all our blues away. Have you heard the news? Everybody's rocking tonight. Have you heard the news? Everybody's rocking tonight. I'm gonna hold my baby as tight as I can. Well, tonight she'll know, Marty, Marty, man, I heard the news. There's good rocking tonight.
Elvis and the epitome of rockabilly, good rocking tonight with some wonderful guitar from Scotty Moore. And if I can name drop, in 2014 I was in that studio with him and others. We were making a documentary for Radio 2 marking his 80th birthday. Sadly no longer with us, but what a legend, as was Elvis, who died 43 years ago today. The final one from Elvis in this first little section. Back in the days when you bought a single, 2 sides for your 6 and 8 pence or whatever it was. Sometimes the B-side was a load of rubbish, but occasionally one would come along and you'd get both sides were an absolute gem. Well, I would argue, excuse me, it doesn't get any better than this. Elvis's greatest double-sider. One side was Marie's the Name, his latest flame. The other side was Little Sister.
Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you kiss me once or twice and say it's very nice and then you run. Little sister, don't you do what your big sister done. Well, I dated your big sister and I took her to a show. I went for some candy, along came Jim Dandy and they snuck right out the door. Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you kiss me once or twice and say it's very nice and then you run. Little sister, don't you do what your big sister does. Every time I see your sister, well, she's got somebody new. She's mean and she's evil like that little old Mo Evil. Guess I'll try my luck with you. Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you kiss me once or twice and say it's very nice and then you run. Little sister, don't you do what your big sister does. Well, I used to pull your pigtails and pinch your turned up nose, but you've been growing and baby it's been showing from your head down to your toes. Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you kiss me once or twice and say it's very nice and then you run. Little sister, don't you do what your big sister does. Little sister, don't you do what your big sister does.
Well, speaking personally, one of my all-time favourite Elvis records from 1961, Little Sister, the A-side, the B-side, it was a double A-side with his latest flame. And just a fantastic production, and Elvis was joined by the very best Nashville session players on that. Just an amazing, talk about tight and well-rehearsed. That's our first 3, Richard, and back in a while for some more.
You've just given me food for thought, actually, as to what my favourite Elvis track would be. I mean, I do like his latest Flame, but I was just thinking off the top of my head, I would go for something like Viva Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
I love Viva Las Vegas because I love the pace of it. I love the speed of it as well. But there we are. But you've got some more great Elvis tracks coming up, haven't you? And another tribute track as well.
Yeah, wrap up with the tribute in a while, yeah.
Brilliant. OK, Geoff Barker back with more rock and roll 20 to 9 this evening here on the BBC. And it is time for Geoff Barker's Rock and Roll Part 2, the second part of our Elvis tribute this evening, Geoff.
Yes, indeed. 43 years ago today, the man died. 1975, I remember being so knocked out when I heard this single was coming out from Elvis, because we knew it was a Chuck Berry song, and it exceeded all our expectations because it was fantastic. A great version of Promised Land.
Get on. I left my home in Norfolk, Virginia, California, home my mind. I straddled that Greyhound and rode him into Raleigh and on across Carolina. I hadn't more the trouble to turn into a struggle halfway across Alabama. Well, a hound broke down and left us all stranded in downtown Birmingham. Well, right away I bought me a through train ticket right across Mississippi clean. I was on that midnight flyer out of Birmingham smoking in the New Orleans. Somebody help me get out of Louisiana, just help me get to Houston town. There are people there who care a little about me and they won't let the poor boy down. Hey. Sure as you were born, they bought me a silk suit and put luggage in my hand. And I woke up high over Albuquerque on a jet to the promised land. But working on a T-bone steak or a Cardi flying over to the Golden State. And the pilot told us in 13 minutes he would set us at the terminal gate. Sweet and low chariot, come down easy, taxi to the terminal zone. Cut your engines and cool your wings and let me make it to the telephone. Los Angeles, give me Norfolk, Virginia, Tidewater 41009. Tell the folks back home this is the promised land, calling in the poor boys on the line. Working on a T-bone steak, all the Cardi flying over to the Golden State. When the pilot told us in 13 minutes he would set us at the terminal gate. A swing low chariot, come down easy, taxi to the terminal zone. Cut your engines and cool your wings and let me make it to the telephone. Los Angeles, give me Norfolk, Virginia, Tidewater 41009. Tell the folks back home this is the promised land, calling and the poor boys on the line.
Wonderful track. Returned to a rock and roll single, put Elvis back in the charts, British charts, early in 1975. And great guitar from the man who was always with him in that era, playing live in Las Vegas and wherever he did his live shows, the great James Burton. Talking of which, James is all over this one. I thought I'd like to show an example of Elvis's live performance. Would I have loved to have seen him in when he was doing his Vegas Hilton period in the early to mid-70s. Here's Elvis doing a traditional song, which he claimed a bit of writer credit for. Oh dear, oh dear. Elvis and C.C. Ryder.
I said, see, Ryder, oh, see what you have done. I said, see, Ryder, oh, see what you have done. Oh, girl, you made me love you. Now your loving man has gone. Hear what I say? Well, I'm going away, baby, and I won't be back till fall. And I'm going away, baby, and I won't be back till fall. Well, if I find me a good girl, I wanna be back at all. Hear what I say? I said, see, Ryder, oh, see what you have done. I said, see, Ryder, oh, see what you have done. Well, girl, you made me love you. No, you love me.
CC Rider. I want to see what you have done. I said, see, CC Rider. Oh, see what you have done. My girl, you made me love you. Now, you love me, let go. Heard what I said, see, Rider. 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 I said, see.
Oh, time machine, please, so I can go back to the Hilton Vegas and see that happening. Elvis and CC Rider, a song he regularly opened his set with at that time. Recorded in said hotel in February 1970 with his a fantastic band that he had with him. There we are, 43 years ago this very day.
Yes, indeed. And what's happening next week? Do we know what's happening next week, by the way, Geoff?
Not off the top of my head. You've really caught me out there.
Okay.